that, she's acting, and her current role is the lead actor in a sexy and immersive play called nothing else but the Pleasuredome. She's not long returned from Norway, where she was protesting oil drilling, and somewhere in all the middle of this, she has found time for us. Last week, she was, I think, in the Arctic as well. Lucy, nice to see you.
Hi, yeah, it's quite a change. I'm happy to be home.
Where were you last week?
I was in the Barents Sea, so we were protesting Statoil, which is moving further north and further south for more and more extreme oil. So, yeah, that's our mission, is to bring... Because the Norwegian government is drilling everywhere else but saying we're like the greenest, most carbon-neutral country on Earth, but they export all their oil.
This is how they make their money. I mean, they're a wealthy country because they go around the world and do this, don't they?
Yeah, they can do other things. They're going to have to.
So how are you going to stop? I mean, are you having any success?
I don't know. I just know that I'm in the fight, and it's a lifelong thing. And in the meantime, I'm going to have some fun. So I think New Zealand we feel Auckland needs a party, so we're going to put one on, and it's going to be the most outrageous thing that you've ever been part of, unless you're at Studio 54 in the 80s. In fact, even if you were, you want to go back. I was at Alfie's.
Do you remember Alfie's?
I remember Ono, the guy with the yellow glasses.
Yes, and Alfie's in High Street. Do you remember this?
Right, but
we were all underage.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. Terribly underage.
With doctored driver's licence, and we caught the bus in. Do you remember this?
Never showed a driver's licence.
Wasn't me.
Never tried.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, I'm guilty, yeah.
First nightclub I ever went to.
Alfie's.
Yeah.
Was it Alfie's?
Yeah.
See, if you went to Alfie's, you're going to love this, because this is on a much bigger scale.
Tell us about it. So it's
glamorous.
Pleasuredome, right?
The Pleasuredome. So imagine if Frankie goes to Hollywood and Shaka Khan had a baby. If their talent exploded all over the place and throw in some prints, that's the funkadelic world that we're building for you. And it's one of those parties where everybody gets to be a somebody. So you put on your hoop earrings, you put on your feathered earrings, whatever people were wearing. What were you wearing in the 80s?
Oh, I had some I'm glad you asked. I had terrible stonewashed jeans with pleats in them. Do you,
that's amazing.
No,
the spaghetti ones, the stretch ones, yes.
Oh, I thought they were cool.
You
blue eyeliner.
Rocked a rah-rah skirt.
Oh, I don't think we could afford rah-rah skirts in Mount Albert.
So this is a real big scene, isn't it? So it's like a New York street scene.
You walk into a New York street. We're calling it the West Village. It's going to be out Partiki Road off the Rosebank exit.
Yes.
Out by Westmere there. So it's a good thing for West Auckland too, because they always have to get into town. It's a huge parking nightmare. Town, the congestion.
Yes, you won't get in
at the moment.
Yes.
But so we've put it somewhere where that's going to be easier to get to, easier to be at. There's food there. You walk into a New York street, there's New York street food, and there is alcohol. This is not a kids' show.
It's West Auckland, so.
Well, then it is a kids' show. No, not a kids' show.
So who's on this? I mean, so what's the story?
The story is... The story is trying to find love in a world where people have given up everything for glamour and style, and, that all that glitters is not gold. So there is a love story in it. There's a villain who is a horrible New York property developer.
Wonder who that could be. Okay.
But this was written 10 years ago. This was written a long time ago. We've been trying to make this as a film and now as a musical. And now we're making it a totally immersive 1980s musical.
So with the street scene, I mean, how much have you taken over of Partiki Road out Rosebank there? I mean,
Well, we had it as a Michigan street for Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yes.
And when we were looking for a footprint to stage this immense show, there's nothing exists that can hold it. And we were like, why don't we turn Partiki Road into New York City? So we're calling it the West Village, and it's for you to come back. If you didn't get to go to Studio 54 or Limelights or whatever because you were 8 and living in New Zealand, this is your chance. If you did and you want to go back there, this is your chance.
This takes you back.
Yeah, it's kind of like a roller coaster.
Loving the passion you have for this. It's
Everybody who's working on it is super jazzed because we're excited about our own part, but when you see what everybody else is doing, there's a lot of
so they're
high-tech
and
stuff.
Thieves and transvestites and
drag queens and the denizens of the night, but ultra glamorous, and you get to be part of it because the audience is in the show.
Yeah, so we come dressed up.
Come dressed up.
I'm picking up the vibe. You like what you do. And you've had some interesting sort of roles, some fun roles. Do you just enjoy it? Because it's got to be hard work at some point.
Oh, no, it's really hard. And by the way, I'm terrified, okay? I'm just so terrified of the workload, but I live to be terrified. I get a bit sort of bummed out when I know what's going on.
You like a challenge by the sounds of it.
I want to be scared. Yeah.
Can I read you? I think this is outstanding. You wrote about some of your adventures and campaigns when you were doing your protesting. So you talk about chronic seasickness, cleaning toilets, hardly any food, rough cold waters. Why do you do it?
Oh, that's because it's important.
Yeah.
I really believe, I mean, we're not being realistic. The age of reason has to come back. We're not being realistic about what our oil consumption and fossil fuels in general are doing to our future. And I mean in our lifetime. This is not something that's going to happen in future generations we don't care about. In my lifetime, and you guys are younger than me,
Mark is actually. Mark is a young man.
we were going to see that, you know, this flooding that's happening in Otago. Imagine that happening every year, even every 2 years.
It almost is now, isn't it? It almost is. Can I put this to you, though? Can I put this to you? But you will be quite encouraged by this because the Brits are looking at banning selling diesel petrol cars from 2040.
Yep,
The French have done it as well. So there is progress. It's just that we are a bit slow.
Yeah, and why? I'm hoping that it's time for governments to get real because our kids and even it's our generation, it's my generation that are really dragging the chain. We've known about this a really long time. So I think that any politician who denies that climate change is one of the number one issues economically, socially, environmentally, health-wise is A, lying, or B, is not fit for office.
I had Paula Bennett, who's Climate Change Minister, on the program last week. I asked her, when is she going to put some climate change targets into law in New Zealand? She replied, one day. I said, one day?
Yeah, but they've known a long time. I mean, Greenpeace, I remember telling me 5-8 years ago that the targets that they're hitting now in terms of putting out far more carbon emissions have always been coming. This was projected long ago. The government knew it, but they're like, nothing to see here. We want to sell more and more dairy products to China, who, by the way, really shouldn't be.
Well, we've been voluntary. We haven't had any proper legally binding targets, which mean that who's going to stick to a voluntary code?
Who's gonna? Well, I don't know. You want to think, okay, Jacinda, okay, Greens, okay, Gareth Morgan, what you got?
What about nuclear power then? Because that's clean.
But there's an awful lot of waste, isn't there? And they have like square miles in Russia and China and Kentucky and places where they have like drums, literally like 40-gallon drums of nuclear waste. So it's got a half-life, 500,000 years before it becomes not quite so dangerous? How are you going to communicate to future generations, don't go here?
So there's no such thing as clean nuclear power?
I don't know of it. I am not a scientist. But there's an awful lot of waste. Maybe with fusion, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't want to have a nuclear waste dumping ground in my backyard.
We won't have one here.
Better to have a blooming wind turbine.
It's been good to see you. It's the first time we've all met you, so we appreciate coming to the program.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I know you.
Yeah, I feel like I know you. I've seen you somewhere. I'm just trying to pick it. Hey, this West Auckland stuff sounds fantastic. Pleasuredome.
Yeah.
So
we're going to bring Auckland alive, and you're all invited.
When's kickoff? When do we go?
It is September. You get tickets at Ticketek.
Yes.
September 28th is the opening, but there are previews and there's much cheaper. It's cheaper tickets. We want to make it so that everybody can come.
And we can come dressed as anything we like.
You come fly your freak flag.
Yeah.
Express yourself.
Mark in a leopard leotard or something.
I'll wear my going out slacks. All right?
Slacks?
Yeah.
You can. There's tables for people who want to sit at tables.
Slacks?
And there's a pit for people on either side of the
All
stage.
right. We better go. Hey, do you remember the Box nightclub as well? The Box nightclub was High Street.
Yes.
Are you with me on this?
Yes, I worked at Club Mirage.
Now, Park in the Bar?
I do kind of remember that, but I was a worker. I was not I was so stingy. I could never spend a cent.
This is Throwback Thursday. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Lovely to see you.